Hello and welcome to Let's Grow Speaks. Today is Tuesday, January 26th. This episode 164. Oh my gosh, I got both things right. What? It's a magic day. I also wrote them down. But then did you notice I actually forgot until I was almost ready to say I didn't know what episode it was? But I wrote them down, yay me. Hi, how are you? Sorry, I'm a little bit, the framing is a little bit weird today. What's happening? I need to be up just like, here, let me sit up on my butt. That'll help. Hi, I'm Amy Beth, also known as the Fat Squirrel on Ravelry, and the Fat SQRRL on Instagram. This week's episode will contain shenanigans of craftiness and of the mind. It will also contain spinning and knitting. Shut up. It will probably also contain some dogs somewhere in the background. Apologize. The little one is whining at me right now. She was just out, so it's just that she wants attention. She's very cute though. Anywho, so I kind of don't know where to start. Oh, it also might contain I don't want to say a game review, but like a game recommendation. But I'll try to put that at the end because I know some of you are just like, not interested. I totally get it's okay. You can be okay with being not interested in everything I say. Or anything, or all the things, or some of the things. That's fine. So let's talk about it. Shenanigans of the mind. It's winter time, but your mind can still run free. Okay. So I kind of don't know where to begin because for some reason, I don't know, last week I talked about how I was going to start reading at least 15 minutes of nonfiction a day. I don't know if that's it or if it's like we have passed the, winter solstice, so we're now getting more sunlight. I don't know what it is. If I'm just delusional for this couple of weeks, but I'm feeling like very invigorated. It's very exciting. I don't know what's going on, but it's nice. I'm not questioning it at all. Maybe some sort of planets have aligned in some way. Thanks, planets. But anyway. So what should I talk about? Okay, so the first thing I'll talk about is, okay, this is something I can watch. Okay, so, are you on Amazon Prime? It doesn't matter. I don't care if you're on Amazon Prime or not, like, I mean, in judgy wise. However, if you are, or even maybe not Amazon Prime, I don't know. But, did you see that they have Acorn TV subscriptions now? Do you know what that means? Acorn TV is the one that produces all of the... Are they a Canadian? I feel like they're... I want to say Canadian, but I don't know. I think I'm just making that up because of like... I think they did the Blackadder series. Maybe I'm just making that up. Maybe I know nothing about what I'm talking about, but... I'm excited about it. Anyway, so you can get a free 30-day trial on Amazon Prime or Amazon... I don't know. But anyway, the video, instant video... You can get a free 30-day trial of the Acorn TV. And then I think after that it's $4 or $5 a month. My plan is though to try to watch everything in 30 days. Okay, not everything. But it's got like the Father Brown mysteries. It's got all the Miss Marples. Now, I may have already purchased the Miss Marples at some point in my life because it's Miss Marple. But they have Tommy and Tuppence, but they have the old one and the new one, which is... I don't know what they call it now, the newer one, but it's quite good. So they've got all of the Agatha Christie, all the Poirot, all of that crazy stuff. What else do they have? They have like a million... Oh, they've got Vera. I love Vera. Have you watched Vera? You can also find Vera on YouTube. It's really annoying how it's presented. I'm sure it's because of copyright and it's illegal and all that stuff. But you can buy it, or you can just rent Acorn for 30 days. But make sure it's like a 30 days when you can just... I think I'm going to have to go to 60. I think I'm going to pay for 1 month. But that's okay. I've gotten so much more than $5 worth of enjoyment out of it. But Vera, have you watched those? I haven't watched the most recent one. Did I watch all the other ones? Vera is the best. And then also, what else does it have that's crazy? It has all of the Time Team on it, which I've never seen before. Time Team is it's a Great Britain, like, what is it? Are they like 40-ish minutes? I don't even think they're a full hour. They're like probably like an hour slot of like archaeological. We're just in season 1, which is in 1995, which TV-wise is actually quite long ago in terms of like what things look like, and it's very exciting. So it's all of these like folks doing they're in this, I don't know if it's continuous, like I don't know if they go into the Saxons and all, but right now it's just they're all about the Roman finds. So they like are digging trenches and finding coins and finding bones. It's exciting. Okay, it's not exciting, like riveting exciting, but it's fun. And then you can really be like, where is Greenwich? And I looked it up now. No, educational something. But it's totally fun. The only reason I even know about Time Team is because I read another series of books where the heroine of the main character is an osteoarchaeologist, and so she kind of makes fun of people that are not fun, but you know. Time Team is definitely like a television non-academic program, but it's fun and cute and it's enjoyable. So there's like 10 seasons of Time Team on there. All the Brits who are watching are like, whatever, it's exciting to us. And what else is up? This is all sorts of crazy things. And then the best. Okay, I don't want to say the best. Really good. Have you seen The Detectorists? Do you know what this is? I actually have not internalized this show enough to know how to sell it to people. It's really good. It's so enjoyable, but it's kind of quirky. Hey, you're on board, right? It's kind of quirky. I don't even know how to like really... The premise is that there are two gentlemen who are metal detectorists. They go around to like farms in England, into fields, and they're looking for like a Saxon hoard. Like ultimately that's what they're really looking for, is just like a hoard of the gold and all this awesome stuff. But they just find, you know, like matchbox cars from 20 years ago, and they do find a coin occasionally. But you know what I mean? It's like, so I don't know how to sell that. Like people are like, it is not a documentary. It's a fictional based entertainment platform. So I don't know how to sell it, but you should just watch it. Now, if you don't watch it, if you watch the first episode and you're like, then don't go forward. Okay? Like it's a unique brand of what it is, and it is if you don't like it in the first episode, you're not going to like it. Unlike me. It is so enjoyable. You have to check it out. I believe that it is on, I want to say that it's on Amazon Prime, but now that I'm about to say, because I don't think did I pay to watch this without even knowing what it is? And that sounds a little crazy, but sometimes I'm a little crazy. But it's so enjoyable. Again, it is called The Detectorists, as in like metal detectors. People who use metal detectors. The fact that it's called, like, they're all uppity about being called detectorists instead of metal detectors, because that's the tool you use. That tells you, I guess that's the beginning of trying to explain to you what this show is. It's not on Amazon Prime, so I don't know how I clearly bought this thing. Why did I buy this like cold turkey? I'm such a sucker, but I don't care. I'm super glad it is. In fact, the first review on Amazon says, binge it. Binge it again. I'm going to watch it again because, again, I feel like I need more of it. I need it to go through me again so that I can somehow coalesce what it is. I can't distill it. It's awesome, though. The Detectorists. I don't know how to sell it, but you should watch it. Okay, so I think that's all the TV I should talk about, right? Since I've talked about TV for like 10 minutes. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so the other thing I'll talk about that doesn't sound like something you want. That's my brand, apparently. Apple books. What? It's true. Are you ready for an Apple book talk? Okay. If you're not, that's fine. I totally get it. You can fast forward. I mean, I'll say that I'll do something like this so that you know when to come back, but I might not. So here we go. The lovely Diane sent me this book, Diane Pyle. It is called Apples, and it is by Roger Yepsen. Okay, so she sent me this actually shortly before. Was it shortly before Christmas? Maybe shortly after. But anyway, around the holiday times. It is awesome. Okay, it has. Let's see, how many pages is it? It is about 243 pages, and this is what it is. Are you ready? It's a beautiful illustration of an apple. Let me pick one that looks more apple-y. That one's kind of confusing. It's a beautiful illustration of an apple, and then a description of said apple. It's a whole book of that. It's a whole book of that. And the illustrations are all gorgeous, and they should all be tattoos upon myself. Except that would be a lot of tattoos. I have a lot of skin. I could probably work it out. There's my Ida Red. I know I just randomly opened that one and I love the Ida Red. But isn't that awesome? So I don't know if I can like actually read from a book and tell you about what the things say. Here's my Gold Rush. It's my current favorite apple. Oh my gosh, the Gold Rush is amazing. I kind of thought the Gold Rush would be like some old-timey variety that just never, like I'd never heard of. No, I think 1992 is when it was introduced. It doesn't make it any less amazing. It's an awesome variety, Gold Rush. It's a keeper, and it's sweet and a little bit tart and an excellent texture. And it is a keeper. We are now almost into February, and my apples are awesome. In fact, about not quite 2 weeks ago, because it was after last recording, we had a really bad cold snap where it got down way below freezing, and I had kept a bag of apples in our garage up on something so things couldn't get into them. I don't think there are mice in our garage anyway, because there's nothing out there for them. But anyway, just in case. And I had a total spaz out where I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot those apples. They're going to go bad. And I ran out to the garage to get them and bring them inside. And like, I was like, do I need warming blankets? And my family was all like, whatever. Maybe they needed warming. They hadn't, but they had not froze. It was amazing. And those apples are awesome. I'm so excited. I think next year I'm just going to, I've always been too afraid to do it, but next year I'm going to go with some cold storage in the basement. I'm not going to do the refrigerator. I'm just going to do like I'm going to do the like swaddling clothes for the apples. I'm thinking, you know, maybe I could, maybe that's a good idea. My husband has an old Shamus shirt that we were just going to give to Goodwill, but maybe I could just find like old shirt. Like anyway, so I'm going to do the whole like root cellar apple style. I've always been afraid to do it because we get mice in our house occasionally. Okay, we get them every year. And then I have to go ballistic and try to kill them all. I'm not going to lie. I would never kill a mouse outside. Ever. It comes in the house. It's gone. Well, at least I try to make it gone. But anyways, I've always been afraid to put I think I've got a system. Oh, I just shook you. I was so excited. About my winter storage plans. But I think next year I've got a system. I'm going to make it happen. I don't know. What do you think? Okay, well, sorry. I got sidetracked. That's what the name of this show should always be. Sorry, I got sidetracked. But then, okay, so you were like, that's amazing, right? What? There's more. That's right. Tracy recommended Apples of Uncommon Character by Rowan Jacobson, who's also James Beard Award-winning author. Now this one, you can see size-wise, this one is much larger. I think this one actually contains more varieties, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be, because, well, no, I guess it wouldn't, because this is 120, so that'd be 240. So this one actually, they probably can contain, oh, no, I had a marker in Oh no, that was just Tracy recommended it. Okay. So this one is an actual photograph and then text about said apple. This one is also not, this is a strict alphabetical organization. This is split into like storage apples. What are they? This one also has recipes. Let me see, what are the... Okay, we have dessert apples, summer apples, bakers and saucers, keepers, cider, fruit, oddballs. By the way, I love Red Delicious is totally in the oddballs section. Right? Isn't that exciting? But anyway, so what I did is I tentatively attempted to mark a few pages where they had overlapping apples. This was the first one I opened up to. I don't know why I picked this one. The Orleans Renier, I guess. I don't know. Is that one in here? Let's just look real quick. You were like, I so did not sign on for this in my knitting podcast. If you're new, I do talk about knitting and spinning. Just, you know, if you're not interested in apples, well, you should get interested. But if you're like allergic to apples, oh, I'm sorry. But it is not a podcast about apples. They just show up a lot. Okay, so this one does not have the Orleans Renier. This was just the first one I opened up to, and I got so excited because it says it has oranges and walnuts is the traditional description of the Orleans Renier's big flavor, and that's certainly in the ballpark. But to me, that misses the Guarapro grassiness of its youth. That limey zing, combined with the dark rum spice and the nutmeg, brings to mind... Like, are you kidding me? It's a whole book of this. Not just adjectives, though. It's not just adjectives. It's not a whole book of adjectives. But there are a lot of adjectives. But it's about apples. So I did check this out from my library. Because as I discussed last week, I'm not being terribly successful with it, but I'm trying. Hey, habits are not set up overnight. They're not broken overnight. I'm trying to work on the spend less, work less. And by the way, I mean, when I say work, I don't mean I'm just going to like lay around. It just means I want to do the work that I am excited about. Right? We all know that with craft stuff. It's the work we're excited about. So anyway, it's kind of amazing. The York Imperial is another new apple to me this year, which I've enjoyed quite a lot. It's a little bit softer in texture than the very exciting Gold Rush, but you know, whatever. So here's this, like you can see this one typically has some... This one typically has more information than this one, obviously larger format, but they're very exciting. Okay, sorry about that. The phone rang, but then the dog lost her minds. And the post office man is supposed to pick up packages, so I was like, oh, maybe it's him, and that's why they're freaking out. No, it was just nothing. So anyway, it's so exciting. So I did just get this from the library, but it's now on my wish list because how exciting is this book? And then I was like, I can't get this book. It is just a reference book, and like, how often? But then I started reading it like it's just a piece of nonfiction. It's amazing. Right? It's so awesome. But anyway, so I just had to tell you about that. I mean, the Roxbury russet is the oldest American apple, having sprung up on a hill above Massachusetts Bay Colony and already popular throughout the southern New England in the 1600s. It had conquered the rest of the New England and New York by 1700s and had some success. Oh, come on. Come on. No, you want it. I need to figure out how that Amazon referral thing works. So anyway... Two very awesome books. Of course, try to get them from the library. Sorry, I just saw a token that was from a game that's loose. And I'm like, what? Try them out from the library, but they're amazing. Whee! Apple books! So thank you, Diane, for the book. And thank you, Tracy, for the recommendation. Sorry, I just jumped you. Okay. Oh, I'm like, oh, let me talk for a minute. So stop the film. So the next thing I want to just briefly say that I just finished. Finishing books again. This is How to Catch a Frog and Other Stories of Family, Love, Dysfunction, Survival, and DIY by Heather Ross. This book was recommended on Susan B. Anderson's video blog, and that was forever ago. I will say this book it's a memoir, and it's by Heather Ross. Do you know who that is? She's a fabric designer, so go look her up. She's amazing. And I do recommend a lot of books. I read fiction on Kindle. I do love that. However, nonfiction I often do read in an actual print format. It just helps my... But even if you don't need the paper format for nonfiction, I recommend this book because it has really lovely illustrations. Like, here's the map of where she grew up, like her mountain that she grew up on. She grew up in rural Vermont with a very difficult childhood, to say the least. In fact, one of the reasons I actually read quite a bit of this book shortly after Susan B. Anderson recommended it, and then had to take a break because, I mean, it's not unpalatable in any way. And in fact, I think for a lot of people, it would not necessarily be as challenging to read, but like sometimes it's very hard when you yourself are challenging with how to be a mother and how to parent, then to read this account of this. Again, this is one perspective on the situation. But her mothering is not very motherly, and it's hard to consume. Especially when it produces a very lovely child and you just struggle with that, like, what am I doing? She basically has a very free childhood and that her mother is not a supervisor in any way. And so there's like that struggle of what magic that kind of childhood free of hovering can bring. But then just like the fear and like, that you read into that she has experienced because of that free child. You know what I mean? It's hard to, again, where do you find that mother ground, right? The mother ground. Where do you find that middle ground between being that helicopter parent and then being a completely negligent parent? It's really like, where is that? So I think part of the reason I had to take a break with it was because not only is the content sometimes like hard to like, but also because again, it just brings up that own like uneasiness in my mind of where that's in it, just so that I'm attaching that to the narrative of the book. And I think that's why I had to take a break. Because really, I mean, she's a very, but it's not like horrific. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, and then this, like, but it's, anywho. I'm trying not to scare you off by saying it's not horrific. I mean, it's not, whatever. It's very good. And then also, so on top of that, and let me also just discuss, it is presented in it's not presented in a poor me format. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes you read a memoir where something is not great has happened and it's really all about like, me. It doesn't feel like that at all. So I highly recommend this book. And one of the fun things about it is that she has, if you notice in the subtitle, there was this DIY. So each chapter has like a little how-to at the end of them. And one of them is how to make cheddar broccoli soup. One of them is how to catch a frog. And there's various ones, but one of them is how to make fleece tights, how to make warm fleece tights. And she tells you like how she drafts a pattern for fleece tights. Like just fun. So it's just fun. It's fun little bits in with the like, ooh, this hard thing happened to you. And it's just got lovely little illustrations. You saw that illustration. Here's another one of her swimming hole. Anyways, it's an excellent book. I highly recommend it. How to Catch a Frog by Heather Ross. And also, don't you just love this cover? It's a very enjoyable book. And it's very easy to read if you're a bits and pieces reader. Like, it's very easy to read just a chunk at a time. and be okay with that. You don't lose, like, what was happening now? You have no, it's fine. Okay, so now let's actually talk about knitting and spinning. Maybe we should do that. I don't know, what do you think? Maybe. Okay. So, finished spinning. I finished some stuff. I finished this. This is Merino from Spun Right Round in her Tricks or Treats colorway. I think it was a club colorway. I know it was club colorway. We have a ceiling fan with 3 lights in it. One of them is out, and it's surprisingly it's affecting things. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it really went out. My husband sometimes decides to unscrew bulbs and fixtures that have more than one bulb in them to save on electricity. He's such an old man. Anywho, and then I'm like, how is it? He's so not about conserving electricity from like an environmental standpoint or anything like that. But every time I'm about to be like, why did you unscrew that bulb? Then I have the conflict of, well, that is better for the environment. But I can't see. Anywho, so it's a very fun and squishy. It's just a 2-ply. My favorite way to do 2-plies now is to split the braid in half, like fold it in half. So you have 2 equal lengths, but they're the full diameter of the original braid. Spin 1/2 as it is, so you get longer color repeats. And then the second half I like to split into usually 1/3 or 4ths, just depending on the diameter of the braid. I know, right? It's like so hard to explain. We need to adapt a universal language of vocabulary of how to speak about these things. But you know what I mean, like thin it out by 3 or 4 and then spin that so you get shorter. So I think it adds a lot of, it's kind of like fractal spinning, but not exactly like that. Actually might be exactly like that. Now that I say that. Anyway. But that's my favorite way to do spinning now. Okay. So I finished that, and then I finished this, which is Superwash BFL. The colorway is Kindred. This is from Into the World, and I purchased this at Rhinebeck 2013. Not that you need to know that, but it was on the tag, and I was already reading, so I just went with it. Meerp. So, again, this I spun it the same way. And these are both, this one is, what did I say? I didn't say. This is about 250 yards. And then this one is about 272 yards. So they're both like DK, maybe sport. Bam. So fun. Sorry, my thing just made a light and it scared me. Okay. So that's that. And then next, I'm trying to decide which. Oh, I should have brought my sock blanks over. My sock blockers. I intended to do that and then spaced it. Okay, I have socks that are finished. I had one pair. This pair of socks right here, I didn't realize that I only had heels left to do on them. Afterthought heels. Really? What took me so long? Whatever. So this is Gail's Art sock blank in the Big O colorway. Do you love it? I love it. And I just did Laura Linneman's Afterthought heel. What is this? So if you've never knit from a sock blank before, it does give you a slightly, you can't tell. I'm pretending. Let me get really close. Focus! You get a mildly bumpily texture, depending on your tension. Some people are so very good at making a tight tension they don't get any texture. I get a little bit, but I actually I don't kind of like it. I like it. I like the slightly of it. It's like, oh, I wanted it to be a pearl stitch, but I'm too tired. Kind of. It's like a little bit of texture, but not a lot. So, that was very enjoyable. Yay! So these are toe up. Both of these, I think. I don't know, can't remember what the other ones are. This toe up after the heel. Yay. Oh, and this is how much of the sock blank I have left. Yay. And then, so I highly recommend Gales. Lots of people are doing fun sock blanks. I'm very enjoyable, but I really recommend Gales. They're lovely. And then the neck, that's not that. Oh, here it is. So the next pair I have finished. Oh, I don't have the ends. Okay, they're finished-ish. Apparently I forgot to weave in the ends on one of them. Or both of them, as the case may be. Whatever, stop judging me. They are from Mustache Yarns. Her Perfect Sock Perfect Sock Self-Striping and OCD Skeins. And these are 80/20 Superwash Merino Nylon in the Nutcracker colorway. Oh, I'm not pretending that you're going to see that. And this is how much I have left over. Little boops. And here they are. Yay! Now these I did toe up Megan Williams Spacious OMG heel. And I enjoy that heel too. It's very fun. And you can see I kind of just lucked out in how it worked. So you can either put in a contrasting yarn or like go from the other end of the ball, or what if you prefer to not have your stripes interrupted. I just went straight with it, and then because again the blue, the aqua and the red are big stripes, so I thought, well, I guess so. I just tried that and it worked out. Actually, I finished the heel right at the end of the red stripe, so the green picked back up. So I think they're fun and very enjoyable. Yay! I don't know why I'm trying to do it's the same, but I have to prove somehow that I did both socks. That's what's in my head. Like, oh, I have to show that that's what happened. Yay, that. Oh, and that bag is from me, and then this bag is from Stitched by Jess Lou. Isn't that a great fabric? Eek. So there's that. What if it ends? And then I have another finished object. And that is the Excuse Me hat by Mr. Stephen West. This is in hand spun from Spun Right Round in Snow Pants colorway. And then when Diane sent me my lovely book, she also sent me Madeline Tosh. What's up with that? Thanks, Diane. In the this is it's Superwash Merino, but it's Madeline Tosh DK in the hot red colorway, I believe. But you can see there was a point of like, is it red or is it orange? I mean, it's definitely, I would say it's orange. It's definitely reading orange on there, but I think that's because of the red behind me, but still pretty accurate. So I say this pattern was by Stephen West. This is a very fun pattern. It's brioche. If you don't know what that is, that's what this is. So that's why you get this side. And then look how fun the other side is. Bam. Right? You're like walking around in your hat and you're like, oh, la 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 la. You're just cruising and then you're like, oh no, it's hunting season, I forgot. And then you're like, oh, don't shoot me, Mr. Hunter Person or Mrs. Hunter Person. All right, I'm ready. I'm ready to not be shot by hunters, but maybe by photographers. Because Stephen West things make you feel like that. Anyway, this is a very fun pattern. If I were going to do, I am doing it again right now. Not as I'm speaking, but it's right there. Doing it again. The top decreases are, let me discuss, this is a $6 pattern that is like half a page long. Whatever, I don't care. I'm happy to support Stephen West's lifestyle. Because he gives me joy. And you can't pay enough for that last knit along video, right? You need to pay him for that. So buy a pattern. But when I'm finishing this one, I am going to start the decreases sooner and do them more gradually. There are basically only 2 decrease rounds in the pattern, and it really, I mean, I think it actually looks fine, because I mean, it's slouchy and it looks just fine. So maybe I won't. Maybe I won't, because that does kind of add like a lot of oofiness to the top. Maybe I won't do them sooner. Now I can't decide. I think I might still put a pom-pom on this. I can't decide yet. So there are many ways you can wear this hat. I'm sorry, I goofed it up, but I just put it on like all silly style. So you can either wear it like this, like if you don't like a slouchy hat, you can wear it with just like the side. Like, isn't that fetch? You're like, oh, I'm so fetch. Right? He has it photographed where he just has the little, because you can see that there's this little asymmetrical thing happening. Like, here's the other side. So you can see that there's some asymmetry happening. He also has it where he's just got the very point flipped up. And he's wearing it with just the pointy bit flipped up for contrast, like back here. Right, and you got a nice slouchy hat. Or he also just wears it like this, and then it keeps your ears warm, but it's still slouchy. And you just get like your nice little like if you have an asymmetrical hairstyle and your hair is shorter on that side and you need extra warmth, there you go, you got it. So this is one of those patterns that was very, because these are actually for gifts. I was very concerned. I'm like, is this too weird to ask somebody to wear? But then I was like, no, Elizabeth Zimmerman was all like, you can give somebody the craziest hat in the world and they'll still wear it. And I do believe that that's true. Except my husband. Whatever, we'll talk about that. You watch Time Team with me, it's okay. So just look at that snail hat. And it's true, you can get away with some funny hats. And also that way, if, you know, they don't want to wear it, they don't have to. Give it to somebody. And it can be the fruitcake of hats. I'm okay with that. But I think they're fun and cute. And they're so squishy because they're brioche. And brioche is the most squishy knitting available. So you just want to do this to your head all the days. Basically is how that works. Do you want to make one? You should totally make one. Brioche is not... And brioche is not hard to do. It is a little time consuming because you essentially have to touch the stitches twice, but it's not hard. And especially now with YouTube. Watch a video, figure it out. It's fine. And then you have a fetch little hat. Okay, so finish that. And then also with my Stephen West Cerama, apparently, I finished my exploration station. This is, as I said, Stephen West's Exploration Station. And it has the brioche section, which is why I was like, must knit more brioche. And when I said I'd never done brioche before, I lied. I have done single color brioche. I made one of those bearded hat things. I just don't know that I even realized it was brioche. But then it occurred to me that I had done that. So, colors. This is... Quince & Company, primarily 3 or 4 colors are Quince & Company. Finch, is that the fingering weight, just wool, no silk? That's the one it is. This is Rosa Rugosa, or something like that. The navy is Peacoat. The greenish-y, mustardy color is Honey. And then this khaki kind of sand, well, it's khaki, I guess, is a hand-dyed, but from the Clay Pearl in Bloomington, Indiana. No, that's not what they're called. They're not even in Bloomington. They're in Nashville. It's little yarns from Nashville, Indiana. But now that's not what they're called. They're called something different, I think. But it's from there. I know, helpful, right? Whatever. Isn't it enjoyable? Shut up. So this is a very pleasant knit. I didn't actually look to see. I should have waited to tell you exactly how much yarn I used. I know that I had an entire, the Finches and 50 gram skeins, and I know that I didn't break into the second skein of the Peacoat, but I did on everything else. So the blue, I still have a 50 gram left. But I should have waited. But it is a nice big shawl. Again, I am a big lady, and even on me, I'm long-waisted, I'm 5'8". Even on me, the points come down to my waist. So it is a nice sizable shawl. And you can do, of course, lots of things with it. Watch Stephen West's video. But isn't it fun? Eek! Right? So I was worried about the color combination, and it's still kind of crazy. But I think it reads well, especially from a distance. So yay, that. I did that pattern exactly as written. Did I say I would recommend this pattern, even though it's a large shawl, because you're working in sections? I never felt like, oh my God. And it even has an I-cord bind off on this bottom, and I think it's like 400 stitches. Even that did not feel too much. Because again, you're either changing color or you're changing texture. And yet, with that said, you would think, oh, it's going to be a lot of looking at the pattern. And it's not, actually. Each section's directions are, I don't know if I want to say they're brief, but it's very clear what you're doing. So you just have to look at them once or twice and then you're like, oh, okay, yeah. Right. So it's very fun. Yay. I totally dig it. Okay. So. Oh, I have one more finished object. I have a sweater that I'm working on, but I did work on it, but come on, all this stuff was really fun. So the last thing that is complete that I will show you, of course I left that little paper over there. I have a friend who I was making presents for, and I kind of like just blanked on, you know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, I'll make that. And then that didn't work out. So I was like, ah, what am I gonna make? So I was looking at the slippers, and I am a huge fan of, I don't know, I call them like homey slippers, but they're slippers that like your grandma would have made, or your great grandma would have made, or your great grandpa would have made, or whatever. Somebody would have made in like the 70s. I love the aesthetic of some crocheted crazy granny square slippers, for example. I dig it, but I don't like to crochet. But I'm always worried about them getting worn out really quickly, because last time they used worsted weight yarn, and I'm like, oh, I mean, I know you don't have to have nylon. I know that, but I weigh a lot, and so I feel like I have to have nylon. My socks are like load-bearing socks, okay? I'm sure that if you weigh like 150 pounds, you definitely don't need nylon. Because, I mean, what weight are you putting on those socks? You're a feather. You're a feather. However, I need nylon. I don't need nylon on my socks, but I have knit socks without nylon, and they have worn out very quickly on me. In fact, and I will say this also, like, also MCN, I can't do in socks because I'm going to trash those immediately. So, I probably have like some dinosaur feet things happening too. Like my feet are probably, well, they're not probably. My feet are rough, and they're not like scary, but they walk around under me all the time. I would feel rough too. Just saying. So anyway, I'm just worried they're gonna, and in fact, I don't just worry. Like I've made slippers and they've worn out instantly. And that's very frustrating. So, where was I going with this? Oh, so I'm always kind of hesitant, like, also, they're often not warm, okay? Like, I've made so many slippers where I'm like, what is this slipper pretending to do for me? I don't live in Florida. What is this slipper doing? This slipper is not as warm as a sock. I could just wear 2 socks. Slipper, why betrayed me? There's a lot of that dialogue happening too. So sometimes I'm hesitant to make slippers, even though they're awesome. Okay? Okay. Now I know that there are warm slippers out there, like the felted clogs. Those are awesome, and they hold up pretty well. They're a double layer of felted material. They take forever to make, not really, but kind of. And it's hard for me to felt stuff in our washing machine because we don't have hot water in it. I know you can do it, boil things. Okay, I get it, I know. It takes forever. Anyway. And it's not enjoyable. So anyway, so I don't know why I'm telling you all of this information, but that is to say that I decided to make some simple garter stitch slippers. And I apologize, the author of the pattern, yes, the author of the pattern does not have her name on the actual PDF, but if you just look under simple garter stitch slippers on Ravelry, you will find it. And they look like this. It's a free pattern. It is only written in one size, a large US or European 41. However, it is the simplest slipper ever. It's these, right? The ones they're literally just a garter stitch rectangle, and then they're seamed. But they're so cute. She does them in fingering weight yarn, and she just holds them double. So, you know you have a skein of opal up there that's just like, that you liked, but maybe not enough to make socks out of it. I might have a few of those. Still gonna make myself some too. But this, right. Like, okay, my friend also has tiny feet. She's a size 7. Like, she's actually too small for my child's leftovers now. So they're just a garter stitch square. So I mean, the pattern is free for a reason. Like, it's the same pattern that Granny and Grampy wore. It's a garter stitch rectangle until you get to the toe, and then you do some toe decreases, and then you Kitchener the toe. I used Judy Magic Cast On to start this with. It's 40 stitches. I knit mine tight as I could up until I felt like the heel was over, and then I loosened up tension a bit because they looked a little bit like toys, and I thought, this cannot fit a human foot. But of course it's garter stitch, so it's very stretchy. So they stretch quite a bit this way. But I did loosen my gauge up because I just kind of got scared. And then you just single crochet. So you're down here, you Kitchener this. And then she doesn't have you single crochet. She just has you like do a crochet join. But I like the single crochet look better. To seam up the top of the foot. And then you just single crochet around. And so this again is doubled fingering weight yarn. Which I've not told you what it is yet. I just realized that, sorry. Just finger well. This is self-striping. This is post yarn in their self-striping sock in Black Lagoon. Post yarn, of course, is by the lovely ladies at Simply Sock Yarn. And it is a 75% superwash Corriedale, 25% nylon. And one of the reasons I chose this specific yarn for her slippers is that, I don't know, for some reason in my head, this Corriedale nylon yarn is warmer than the merino. I have no scientific basis for that assumption at all. It's just in my head, but that's all that matters because it's in my head and I'm making them. You know what I mean? Okay. So, in my head, this is warmer. It's still superwash. It still has nylon. I think I actually am going to go the extra step and put some Plasti Dip grippers on the bottoms. I'm scared of that Plasti Dip stuff, yo. It might give me face cancer, like, instantly, but I'm concerned that if I give her these slippers, she's a little bit klutzy, and she, I think, has all slickery floors. I'm afraid that if she falls and, like, breaks her face or her hip or her elbow or something, that it'll be my fault. So I might risk face cancer, just to make sure she doesn't. Or that if she does fall, I can be like, dude, you were such a klutz, instead of me being like, oh my god, my slippery slippers killed you. But yeah, so this is a very fun pattern. I knit these in 2 nights, 1 night each. The finishing was no problem, even though I usually hate to finish stuff. And aren't they cute? Again, she does have tiny feet, but still, aren't they cute? I'm totally gonna make some for me. And yes, I did attempt to match up the stripes in the self-striping. I did not go from the inside to the outside of the ball because that, of course, would give you opposing sequences of stripes. I lost one of the balls, apparently. So I skeined off, or I I wound off all of the vowels. So many vowels. I wound off half of the skein and then wound off the other half so that they would be in their same sequential order. And I have another one of these things. She has very tiny feet. So yay! Oh, and I did do the seaming in a contrasting-ish yarn. I tried it in this, and it looked cute both ways, but I just liked this better because it was solid. Anyway, they're cute. Lots of people put a pom-pom on the toe. I don't think she'll be okay with that. That might be too for her. Anywho, I totally love them. They're very cute. And also they'll be fun to package because you can just roll them up. And then she's gonna be like, why did you send me a sea urchin? Oh no, they're slippers. What? That's what she'll be like. Actually, she might be like, no, what? Are these still? I'm confused. But anyway, I think she'll like them. And again, I am so excited. I'm totally going to make myself some, again, out of some like languishing opal that's like, you You know, because sometimes you buy like 2 skeins of it because you just can't decide, and then you're like, oh, clearly this was the one I should have bought. Okay, so then the only other thing I have to show you, works in progress style. I know this is like the longest episode ever. I've gotten slouchy again, sorry. Is another excuse me hat. I know, right? And this is Superwash BFL, and I apologize, I don't know what the colorway was. From, I feel like it was Don't Blink, but now I just feel like I just made that up. Whatever. Anyway, it's Superwash BFL from the beautiful folks at Into the World. Isn't it fun? And then the contrasting is just some white Superwash BFL DK. Or some undyed from when I was dyeing yarn that I had left over. Oh no, I just found a stitch. Oh, just found a stitch that I only caught a little bit of. I can't remember to go back and mend that. So then there's that side. Right. So won't it be fun? Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm knitting these on really tiny needles because, again, my gauge is weird. I think these are 3s. But, and so won't it look cute with the little flippy flip with the super contrasty white underneath of it? Right? Ah! And this one is mega squishy. The other one's very squishy too, I can tell. I can decide. This is more than a DK. It's heavier than a DK that was in the other one, but I think it's still fine. Okay. So that's all the knitting and spinning. The other thing I will briefly tell you about, and then maybe I'll tell you about a game, is, oh, shop updates. There, I'm going to try to do one the first Friday of February is what I'm going to try to do, but I can't guarantee that yet. But I think that's what I'm going to go for. There's the other skein. I'm back. So then the last thing I'll show you is I made an apron. I've been wanting to make aprons for like 2 years now. And I never make time to do it because I feel like if I'm sewing, I should be sewing for the shop. And then again, part of this whole New Year's is being like, no, I need to do some stuff for my own brain. Do you know what I mean? Getting some stagnant cobweb stuff happening up here. It's out of control. So I always want aprons that are bigger because I'm bigger and most aprons are one size fits all, which we know fits one boob only for me. So I have one clean boob. No, I don't even have that. But anyway, this apron is called the Bloomin' Apron, and it is by the Paisley Pincushion, and it has sizes ladies extra small, which I think is a 4-6. Yes, a ladies extra small, small, medium, and large, and medium is 14 to 28. No, 14 to 18. I was like, wait, what? That's right, that's medium. 14 to 18, and then large is 20 to 24. So it goes up to a ladies 24. It also has a child's and a doll version. So if you want to make for your kiddo, or I guess I'm assuming it's like one of those American Girl doll sizes. But anyway, you can find these on Etsy, or maybe at your local craft store. I don't know. But again, Paisley Pincushion, Bloomin' Apron. She's got like a ton of different patterns. And I have, I think, 3 of her apron patterns because, again, they're offered in larger sizes. Yay! And so I made this one. I didn't make all that fancy stuff on it. See, there's got like a cute little sunflowery applique. I didn't do that. But I made one. What? It's true. I know, this just looks like my boobs. But here's my little waistband. And it's got buttons so that you put the crissy-crossy straps on. What? Isn't it exciting? It's all bias tapey. Shut up, it's true. I'm so fancy. So I totally messed this up in several ways. For one thing, I made the skirt go over too far. I didn't realize that the pattern, I didn't understand what's happening. I do not recommend this pattern necessarily if you've never sewn before, unless you're just sassy. It is not the clearest pattern in the world, okay? But you can do it. There's YouTube. You can do it. I didn't actually know how to apply bias tape. I know, go ahead and laugh at me. Whatever. Anyway, it was very fun though, and it was challenging, but not too challenging. You know what I mean? If I were to make this pattern again, you can see that the back, see how that has the crisscross, the shoulder straps are crisscross and they button into the waistband. They are just like the front, a single layer of fabric with just a bias tape around the edge. If I were to make if I were to make this pattern again, I would actually do them as a double thickness and maybe even put interfacing in them, because what happens is when I put them on, they tend to wad up, which does not really affect the functionality, but I like my aprons to look cute. So if I were to do it again, I would totally do them at least as double thickness, if not double interfacing. What else? Oh, I decided that also, again, I'm a big lady, so that like sometimes when you size things up, they get a little bit too broad on the shoulder. But I think if I were to attach the bib part of the apron, this is where I was supposed to attach it. I think if I just gathered it a little bit more and attached it like, what is that? 3/4 of an inch or an inch narrower, it would be, I think, perfect. So that's what we're gonna do too. I need to make notes on my pattern to do those things next time. But that's also probably because I'm a fat lady, but I'm really fat this way more so than this way. Not that I'm not fat this way, because I totally am. But it's more like I'm slightly narrower this way than I am this way. So that's probably why the apron feels too wide. How fun. Anyways, very excited about that. And there are other patterns out there that are sized for aprons, but there's not very many. Another one I want to make is totally all cut on the bias, and it has an apron, like the bib part is full and then buttons in the back. I still want to make that one too. Anywho. So very briefly, I will also tell you that I don't know how to sit up straight. We played for the first time. So this is the board game part. If you're not interested, I love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye. If you're interested in board games, again, not a review, just a recommendation. We love this board game. It's called, I don't know if this is how you pronounce it, but this is how I pronounce it. I pronounce it Taikanoko. And it is a very fun board game. My daughter loves pandas. And I think, let's see. Let me see if it tells you the ages. 8 and up, 2 to 4 players, about 45 minutes. She is 9. I think we got it when she was 8. It's not a complicated board game at all. You're a gardener for the emperor, and you build this garden for him, and it grows bamboo, and then also the panda comes behind you and eats your bamboo. And then what your goal is you have different cards about, you can win points by laying tiles in certain orders, by growing bamboo in certain configurations, or by eating said bamboo. So you have 3 objectives that you can try to meet, and more than 3 actually over the full game, but just those are 3 categories of objectives that you're trying to meet. So there's lots of different ways to strategize in terms of what you're doing. So it's a great game. But then last year at Gen Con, they introduced their expansion, Taikanoko Chibis. And basically it's adding Miss Panda, Lady Panda, and 9 babies. Now the babies are not figurine form, they're in the form of discs. So, I know, right? Maybe we should make some Fimo pandas. But anyway, can't have everything. I think this expansion is in like the $20-ish range on Cool Stuff. Cool Stuff Inc. is a great place to buy board games. In terms of, they have a good selection. And the prices are very consistent. Amazon can sometimes trick you. Especially if a game is older or is close to being out of print or is in fact out of print. Some of the prices can go crazy and you don't realize it until after you purchase and you're like, what? So make sure you check on both places to get a good idea. So anyway, it adds the lady panda and the babies, and then it also adds, sorry, I don't have them separated because and the expansion does fit back into your original insert, which yay that. So it adds more objective cards. It also adds more tiles. How much do you love that one? And see Miss Panda's on it. And there's certain ways, again, that Miss Panda and Mr. Panda get together. And then they have the baby pandas. And the baby pandas give you victory points, and they also allow you to do different things. How exciting is that? So here's what one of the baby pandas look like. Oh, hey. And anyway, it's a really fun little expansion. It actually surprisingly adds a good amount of depth for it. The baby pandas are kind of a tricky strategy because you can get them without triggering end of game stuff. So it's a good sneaky way to get extra points. I totally thought my kid was doing a crazy strategy. She's just getting all the baby pandas. I'm like, you're just getting the baby pandas because they're baby pandas. And then she totally beat me by like 20 points. And by the way, I only had 20 points and she had like 40 points. So that's a significant difference. It's not like I had 90 points, she had 110. No. Twice as many points I did. So I mocked her strategy and then karma paid me back. So again, it adds new gardening tiles, it adds new strategy or new objective cards, and it adds babies and Miss Panda. So pretty much it adds a lot of fun, good stuff. I highly recommend it, especially if you like the base game. You in no way need this if you have the base, like if you are interested in buying the base game, you don't need the expansion. In fact, I would enjoy the base game first for quite some time and then add the expansion in if you decide to do that. But it seemed like a definite since my kid is crazy panda crazy and we like board games. So, okay, I think that's all. Right. I think that's right. This will be a crazy long episode. Anyway, I hope you have a great week and I'll talk to you next time.